You want to know how to play hunts properly? In this video, I will show you everything you need to know. First up, the draft, guys. We're picking here for the Huntress in the mid position, because sources are kinda bad with the Fiends together, and Huntress, Shaman, Archer are pretty decent on mid position. This allows us also guaranteed scaling with the Bloodlust, and the Dispel is also really good overall. On tier 2, we're looking now for Spellbreaker or Raider, because they have medium armor and are really good against the pierce damage where hunts are weak against. That's why I will pick here for the right side. The Druid of the Claw with the Roar on top is also pretty good for more damage output, and also the Hippos are fine as anti-air. So next up we're picking just for the Kodo, because we don't need the Shade, because if we want detection we have the Owl ability of the Huntress. And here the right side with the MGs and Worms looks pretty juicy. I'm thinking here about, do I need more anti-air, because therefore the Siege Tanks would be good, but we have the Hippos already, which are pretty fine. So now we have a pretty solid draft. We have tier 1 Huntress and Dispel, guaranteed scaling, good tier 2, Kodo also for even more scaling, and MGs and Worms on tier 3, also with the Bloodlust, is actually a really strong draft overall. So I'm watching now what my team is doing, just to know if I need to reposition. So the top player is starting with 3 ghouls, which is a bit weird, because then you are losing like to 4 ghouls and still kind of win to 3 grunts. He did go just for mine opener, so he had only money for 3 ghouls. So I'm opening here always with double Huntress, and I'm positioning them also like in the bottom, like this, because then you are actually having way better chances to beat grunts if the opponent plays grunts. So I'm giving with the positioning myself a bit better options to actually win if the opponent plays grunts. Yeah, and obviously we want to win as much as we can. Opponent plays footmen, here it doesn't matter, because 3 footmen are always beating 2 hunts. So we're losing the first round, that's fine guys. Obviously it will be better if you're winning straight away, but also if you lose like the first waves, guys, this is no problem. You still are totally in the game, and you just need to realize where your strong spots are and play for them. Yeah, don't tilt guys, just stay calm, get a good hero out, and just know when your timing is. So here the Demon Hunter is quite strong, but the Farseer with the Wolves should win, because they're just taking too much damage. So I'm going now for the hero. Cause, yeah, I'm playing mostly for kinda wave 2 or 3 hero nowadays, because then I kinda can scout in the first wave what my opponent plays. And the heroes also are really strong overall, so they give you also a good shot, even if you're behind a bit, because they can carry you. Yeah, so with Huntress you also need to know that you will most likely lose the first 2-3 waves. Huntress are kinda weak if you play just 1 or 2 of them, and stronger in mass. So here TC and DK are really bad heroes. So Shadowhunter is decent hero, but also Shadowhunter is kind of weak on the first 2 levels, but is getting the tempo spikes on level 3, 5 and 6. So I'm expecting here to lose the next waves, because I have only 2 Hunters and a level 1 Shadowhunter. So, but it's not bad in this draft to lose these waves, because I know this is not my tempo spike. I like, if I would win here now, my opponent would be really bad, or really weak, I should say. So I'm positioning all my units also in the back, because my 2 teammates are positioned in the front, and we're losing the waves anyways. So the best way to actually bounce back to the middle is to stack with my team, and this will only happen potentially if I'm placed in the back. So I'm also just adding more Hunters here, because as I said, 2 Hunters are not doing so much, so we're adding more, and we're also adding Shamans, because we need some Dispel against the Farseer Wolves, and also the magic damage of the Shamans is pretty good against the Footmen, and we also have the option to go Lightning Shield, which is also really strong against Footmen, because at the moment my opponent didn't have any Dispel. So what I'm preparing here basically is to kinda get a good mid control out, and I'm playing more for plays, like more for winning the mid to late game. So in the middle it looks like my top player probably wins or ties the lane. That's why I'm repositioning now back to the middle. Because if you're in the middle positioned, then you also will most likely get to the middle to keep mid control while you're not running into the tower. If I would just stay in front the back, I would probably like lose mid control again. So lose the money, and I don't want this. And if I would position too much in front, I kind of would potentially run probably into the tower, where I also lose the lane, which I don't want. So that's why the mid position. So now the enemy wave with the Farseer got kind of weakened because my top player like killed his wave quite easily. I see now archers getting added from the Farseer player because they are really good against the Huntress. And now the lane looks like a lot better. Like now, because our top player like kind of killed a lot, we are here quite decent. It's really important to kill the Farseer here, that he's not stacking. We're also having like a really short stack with our Shadow Hunter already. Bottom player did go for 1 mine. I also like here to scout a bit what my teammates doing, because that also determines a bit what I should do. I think the bottom mine of our teammate is like way too early. Like we're really struggling at the moment to keep mid, and he's just going for a mine. This could bounce back really hard, because the most people will now say, yeah, 1 grunt or 1 unit doesn't matter. Trust me, guys. In games against good players, when you also have like really like here, like a tight lane where you're not clearly winning, getting for the mine, like getting for the second mine or not, is like a big difference. Yeah. So I want to get here for 4 shamans. Ideally, I'm not quite having enough money for it, because 4 shamans can instant dispel double wolves. And he also added some shamans. So I also want to prepare for his lightning shield that I can dispel it. So, and now you see it here. So our bottom player probably lost his lane, also caused the mine. That's why we are now getting bounced back a bit. The Farseer player playing now for Gargs, which is in my opinion a really bad decision. Because as you see, the Gargs are just attacking my Shadow Hunter. And the Shadow Hunter is just tanking easily the Gargs and now killing it. So playing for the Gargs here makes like absolutely no sense. Like this was a really bad play from him, and will definitely also like favor us here potentially for a stack and for getting better into the game. We are not quite stacking here, was really close. They have now a stack, and also the Demon Hunter player has like really not much units left at the moment. So it is a tight game so far. But we are actually, in my opinion, really good in the game, because we are Shadow Hunter level 1 still, and having also just some Huntress, not that many. So we should be weak in this spot. But we actually even had for a short time the mid control. And our tempo spike is not even there at all. And if you can get into the mid control while you're being weak, yeah, that's a good sign for you. So I'm adding now here some archer, because he showed me he wants to play Gargs. If he goes must Gargs in this wave and I have no archers, then it would be probably pretty bad for me. And the archer are just also fine against like his army. A bit of backline is decent. So we're just adding 3 archers because of this reason. There's also 1 Hawk now. So also against the Hawk, the archers are pretty good. So yeah, that's why I played this here. So level 2 now. We need level 3 to get strong on the Shadow. With level 3, we should get into a big advantage. So there are the 2 Gargs still, okay. Did I see not more Gargs? Means I also don't really want to add more archers. And my opponent is adding more and more archers himself. So I'm checking my tier 2 now, what I have, because the archers are wrecking my hunts pretty hard. That's why I'm taking now to tier 2, where I prepared my draft for the Raider. With hunts, you have to play Raider or Spellbreaker, or in the worst case, the Druid of the Claw, because the Huntress will get wrecked now from the Archer pierce damage. So I have the Raider, and the Raider are really good against pierce damage, because they have medium armor, and they are getting 25% reduced damage against pierce. That's why my plan is now go tier 2, then play Raiders in front, like 3 or 4, and then they will tank really hard. I probably also get my level 3 on the Shadow Hunter, and then we can stack and bounce back. That's the game plan. And from this spot on, we should be strong. I'm also getting here a pendant on my Shadow Hunter, because I'm expecting to bounce back. That means I will stack with the next wave in like +1 turn. And then I also need more mana, because the healing wave enables the stack and to keep the push alive. So after this tech here, I have not so much money, and we're also pushing anyways. So I'm adding just first dependent and the damage with the roar, getting here also an upgrade to keep my units as much as I can alive, because I want to actually stack with the teammate behind me. That's the goal. Yeah. So this wave, I don't know if this will already be enough. Level 3 on the healing wave, this is my tempo spike. Level 3 healing wave is the moment when the Shadow Hunter gets online. So we are nearly clearing here this wave also. They have now also a statue, which is really good for them. And I'm checking again what my team is doing. I'm checking, did they got for more mines or not? And I feel like we're strong enough here, because I have level 3 Shadow Hunter now, and also the Demon Hunter player is like pretty strong at the moment. So I feel like I can go for another mine, because we are strong now. And you want to add +1 mine when you're strong and can keep most likely the push alive. Yeah, we are also like behind on economy, because I'm expecting my opponents to have like also more than 1 mine, because they were dominating the early game. So that's why I'm adding here the mine. And the the Demon Hunter player is just pretty strong now. So, and now is the raider time. I have not that much money, but I will now add like more and more raiders just to get a front line, which is good in tanking. Actually, I have enough money for a second raider here. So now my front line looks pretty fine. My hunters are now kind of protected against the pierce damage. You also don't need a really big front line. Like these 3 units in front are making a huge difference. Yeah. And now I will see, can we stack with our teammate in the background? Can we not stack? And then we have to see what else we do from this spot. So we're fighting here with the tower. We're killing the statue. That's really important. And the main goal is that we want to stack with a teammate. Yeah, on this wave, it looks like pretty tough, but we're still fighting with the tower. But it won't be quite enough. I'm checking again, what is my team doing? It's really important. Because if my team would like go for a tech, then I can't tech more. But I should just add more units at this stage. We definitely don't go for more mines, because 2 mines is all you need in every game. And now I'm positioning in front, because I didn't stack with the guy behind me. And it also doesn't look like I would ever stack with him. The gap is just too big. And the Demon Hunter player is pretty strong. So I'm feeling like it's more likely that I'm stacking with the guy like before me, because he's strong. And the Shadow Hunter is also pretty good on stacking with the guy in front of you, because you can simply healing wave the units and the hero from if you're running in, and then they will probably stay alive. I'm also adding a Kodo for more damage now. 4 shamans is all I need at the moment, because no one plays really hard into like summons or something I need to dispel. And I'm adding a bit more frontline, because if you want to stack also, it's important to have the defense upgrades and a good front line, because if you are beefy on your units, then you are more likely to stack. Yeah. So, and now we see, okay, this looks quite promising for a stack. He's having also here simply, yeah, a lot of army left, and now we have a pretty big stack. We are level 3, there are necros, our raiders are tanking all the pierce damage really well. Like you see, like even 1 raider survives also this wave here, and now we have a really strong push. So, we have a lot of summons there. It's also quite likely that we probably even stack with the guy behind us again. And the Shadow Hunter can just keep the push alive as long as he has mana, basically. So, I'm going tier 3, because we are pushing now. If you're really far ahead, which we are in this spot, then you want to add mines, but you don't need more than 2, or you go for teching. We have on tier 3 the Bloodlust, the MGs, the Worms, which is really strong. Also the drums upgrade. So I want to keep our advantage going, and the best way to do so is go tier 3 here. Because at the moment, the opponent can't bounce back. Like, at least for 1 or 2 waves, we will keep the mid for sure, because our push is just too strong to get countered at the moment. And I also don't want to add more Huntress or more Raider or more Archers, just because they are not really that great to the mid and late game. But the MGs and the Worms and the Bloodlust and the Drums upgrade and the Hardened Skin upgrade, they are really strong in the mid to late game. So it's really important that we are tagged in this turn. And now you will see, I'm going for the Bloodlust. And I will also see what my opponent's doing. I'm checking again what my team is doing, because it's so important. If someone of my team would go for 4 mines, I would need to play probably different. But my team is playing well. They're staying 2 mines. They're also going tier 3. We have now a Bloodlust. We have now 1 big MG. And now the archers of the enemies are really bad. We're also level 5 now. That's another big tempo spike for the Shadow Hunter. And the MGs are insanely good against all tier 1 and tier 2 units, because they are having a lot of HP. And the Hardened Skin upgrade is simply making all the archer damage only dealing 50%, which is obviously insane. So MGs are just premium tier 3 unit, especially if your opponent is spamming tier 1 and tier 2. Like, our opponent can't win with tier 1 and tier 2 against MGs. It's impossible. Like, he has also to go tier 3 now if he wants to have a chance. Yeah. So, and I'm now positioning again in the backline, because I think we don't want to fight in the enemy fortress at the moment, because we can't kill it really at all. And then we also can stack more likely with our teammates again. So repositioning is also a really important part here in the game. And I have not quite enough time to reposition everything, so I just leave my front line in front to not fuck up my whole position. And then we can reposition the rest in the next turn. Yeah, so I'm positioning now for the next turn the rest in the back line. And we're adding a bit more MGs, because they are tanking literally all damage of our opponents. So also, if you're on tier 3, guys, you need to know what's important to add. And if your enemies are spamming tier 1 and tier 2, then just adding like 3-4 MGs with the Hardened Skin upgrade is literally everything you need. Because it doesn't matter how much buffs the archer have. They're doing like really little damage against Hardened Skin. Yeah, and now we have again a stack with the hero and having also the level 5 Shadow Hunter. The MGs are tanking even quite decent against the fortress. And yeah, the Necros and Bloodlust also doing a lot. Level 6 on 1 hero now. And we're also nearly level 6, having quite a bit of mana again, and looking very strong now. So yeah, so you see, guys, the early game was the situation where I knew we are not strong. We were kind of doing it still decently. And now tier 2 and tier 3, I knew we are strong there. And we also made like a really good timing push, basically, with our strong units, with our strong levels on the heroes, and also using our upgrades to the best advantage. Yeah. And if you know that you can't really win the early game, then just play for the mid to late game, guys. That's fine. Like, you just need to realize when you're strong. Yeah. And because I'm seeing in the front line that I don't need any more defense, because we're already at the fortress, I'm adding now fortress damage. And the best fortress damage, which is also good against all the units the enemy plays, are the worms. So we're adding now worms to add more damage. And worms with the Bloodlust are also just really strong overall. So our opponents are playing like Abos now. They have some Gargs. So against the Gargs, my worm is actually pretty bad. But they have not that many so far, so it should be fine. But I also need to observe if my opponent is playing more of the Gargs, because the Gargs are hard countering my worm. But he has just not enough army. So my worms are staying alive and we are fine. And now also enemy team is starting for feed voting, because they're feeling, yeah, it's pretty tough to win. I have to say, guys, you should never for feed voting, because in this game, there always are misplays happening, and there's always a chance to kind of come back in the most games. I mean, this game, not really. This game is nearly over, because we also stacking again but you should always try till the fort is down, cause there is most likely a way in most games to turn back. Subscribe if you want to climb faster in Direct Strike. Thanks guys!